afternoon and welcome to our celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Tour and everything that bourbon has become for Kentucky. We're gathered here today because of an idea that started 25 years ago to show a few visitors the art and science behind making the world's greatest bourbon has become so much more than any of us could ever have dreamed. From only 7 founding distilleries in 1999 to 46 distilleries today and a whopping 18 million visitors later, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail now is a global bucket list tourism destination. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that. The Kentucky Bourbon Trail is a global tourism bucket list destination. When I interviewed for this position some 17 years ago, it's funny, buried in the job description was this little phrase that said, promote the Bourbon Trail concept. And I was like, concept? It's been around for 8 years. Nobody knows about it. We got to do more. The only marketing we had was a truly unattractive brochure, which we have today. You can see how beautiful it was. We did have some directions on there on how to get there from the distilleries. And we touted the Bourbon Trail as something that you could do in a single weekend. About a year later, we had to put turn-by-turn directions on the website. But if you were lucky enough to have a TomTom or a Garmin to help you around, when you plugged in the address to Maker's Mark, where's Bill Samuels? It took you to a cornfield in Marion County. I'm not joking. And heaven forbid if you were going from Four Roses to Wild Turkey, because it literally took you through a creek. It's called Wildcat Creek. Look it up. I'm not joking. It took you through a creek. But it truly has been a mesmerizing journey to watch the Bourbon Trail become what it is today. And although I could, I'm not here to reminisce about the journey, but really to celebrate the future. Over the next 2 years, KDA members are investing $3.5 billion in capital projects, which is all part of a $5.4 billion capital campaign spree over this decade. Of the $3.5 billion that's forthcoming, hundreds of millions are earmarked to build, upgrade, and expand visitor centers and offer more unique and immersive tourism attractions than ever before. Our distillers are doing their part to plan for the future, and the KDA is working right alongside them to imagine and dream for what is possible. But before I tell you and show you what the future looks like, we have a couple of special guests who are here today to join us for the celebration. I'd say that everybody in this room has been a bourbon champion and proven time and time again what we've done for the Commonwealth, and we couldn't do this without y'all here today. But 2 guests today are going to speak to us about what it means to lead the charge for Kentucky bourbon on the local, state, and national levels. Unfortunately, Congressman McGarvey had an emergency today, and he won't be able to be with us, but pinch hitting is State Senator David Yates and former Louisville Metro Council President. And of course, one of our biggest champions we're proud to welcome here today, co-chairman of the Congressional Bourbon Caucus, Representative Andy Barr from Lexington. Gentlemen, would y'all come up? I'll let y'all take it over. You've got me burning a pot, Congressman.
Senator, good to see you. Good to see you. All right.
Well, I'll just jump in, and I'm Andy Barr. I represent Kentucky's 6th Congressional District, Central Kentucky, and a big part of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And Eric, thank you so much for inviting me. Our best wishes go to my good friend, Morgan McGarvey, who is a terrific partner in the bipartisan Congressional Bourbon Caucus. It is altogether fitting that a Republican and a Democrat from the Commonwealth of Kentucky lead the bipartisan Congressional Bourbon Caucus in Washington, D.C. And yes, it's a great way for us to be diplomats for our signature industry, a $9 billion industry for the Commonwealth of Kentucky and growing. But it's also an opportunity for us to bring together the Congress, and I can share a few stories about that. But before I do that, let me just say, I just came from God's country, Central Kentucky. We love Louisville, even in Lexington. We We are a little partial to the blue over there versus the red. But I will tell you again, on red and blue, bourbon brings us all together. I just came from Anderson County, Kentucky, home of Wild Turkey and Four Roses, two very proud members of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And they are very, very proud of everything that's happening over there with the Buddha bourbon and Four Roses and the exports that Four Roses is known for over to Asia. There's so much opportunity in the export market for Kentucky bourbon. The senior senator, Leader McConnell, often likes to say that, 95%, they say 95% of bourbon is made in Kentucky, but the other 5% is counterfeit. I agree with that sentiment for sure. But with the privilege of representing bourbon and the culture and the history of bourbon and the jobs that it produces for our people, 23,000 jobs, a huge payroll for our industry, there's a responsibility. And Morgan and I take that responsibility, and all members of the Congressional Bourbon Caucus take that responsibility serious. There's some significant public policy issues that we handle on behalf of the bourbon industry to continue to advance the prosperity of this key industry for the Commonwealth. Obviously, it's a tax and trade sensitive industry. We're focused on that. We're focused on making sure the market access, not just to Europe, but looking at Southeast Asia, other potential markets for bourbon continues to prosper. We work with the USTR on that. We work with the Ways and Means Committee on that. We achieved some huge successes on the tax front, reducing the federal excise tax. My bill, the Aged Distilled Spirits Competitiveness Act, capitalized interest, that became permanent law as well. We have to remain vigilant on the market access front. We remind the USTR, and we led a letter back in September to make sure on a bipartisan basis that we communicated to our trade representative the importance of extending the suspension of the EU tariffs. And why is that important? Because we've seen with that suspension, our exports jump up 30%. So keeping that market access is really, really important. The rum cover over issue, the duty drawback issue, those are all important. But I want to highlight one policy issue that is real and present today, and that is the White Oak Initiative. In addition to co-chairing the Congressional Bourbon Caucus, I've joined with other bipartisan members of Congress to lead the White Oak Initiative, the White Oak Caucus. Again, very bipartisan. This is very important because at current consumption rates in about 20 years, we're going to start to see some sustainability challenges in white oak, which is, of course, as you all know, very, very critical to sustaining our bourbon industry. Let me just tell you really quickly about the White Oak Resilience Act, which has been included in the Farm Bill. First, it creates pilot projects for the U.S. Forest Service and the Department of Interior to reforest and regenerate white oak where appropriate. It creates a white oak reforestation fund where private funding could be used to fund white oak regeneration on national forests and private lands through the National Fish and Wildlife Service. And it allows the Forest Service to enter into agreements with land grant institutions to conduct much needed research on white oak. So important for us to continue the long-term vision of this industry and the long-term health and viability of this industry to make sure that we are stewards of our white oak forests. Final point, I think that this industry is not only a fun industry to represent, it's not only an industry that brings our country together, our Commonwealth together, but it has diplomatic usefulness. It really does. Let me just give you two examples, one domestic and one foreign. So, it was not too long ago that I was sitting on the House floor with a colleague from across the aisle, a congressman from California who represented the wine industry. And we had very different political flavors, but we started talking about the California wine industry and the Kentucky bourbon industry, and we were in the middle of these long debates, late into the evening. And I invited Juan Vargas from California to come back to my office. I wanted to sample with him some Kentucky bourbon. And that conversation over a glass of bourbon between a liberal Democrat and a conservative Republican happens all the time in this country outside of Congress. And we talked not about politics, we talked about our families, we talked about our states, we talked about our aspirations for life. That is the essence of our signature spirit. And then one other quick story. When I'm on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and when I travel the world today as part of our official work, you know what people all around the world, not just all around the country now, they ask me about the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. How can I come to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail? And so while we have 50 states of people in this country who have come to the Bourbon Trail and 25 countries who have come to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, over the next decade, I think we're going to have 100 countries represented on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It is going to be an international destination. So cheers, congratulations, and I look forward to continuing the celebration.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for inviting me last minute. I'm State Senator David Yates, and I have a unique perspective with bourbon. I came in to the local Metro Council in 2010, and there really wasn't a whole lot. We talked about bourbonism, but it really hadn't caught on. Since then, we've watched the explosion, not only for our signature industry, but also for the economic impact for Kentucky, and really throughout the United States. And so what I do is when I'm a champion for bourbon industry, when I'm a champion to improve the way that we're seen through the Bourbon Trail and through tourism, I know I'm being a champion for Kentucky. It goes hand in hand. Because for me, I look at the distilleries and the places, the people they employ. Those are my constituents. Those are my families. When we look at the corn that's used here locally in Kentucky, those are our families. Those are the people that we're supporting. And then when we're marketing, not just throughout the country, but throughout the world, we know we're marketing our family, our friends. We're marketing Kentucky, and that's something I can always be proud of. So I thank you. I thank each of you for all the work that we've put into this, to making sure we improve the trail, to make sure that we've re-envisioned bourbonism in a way that people want to come to Kentucky. Because what we've learned is when you come to Kentucky, you experience the fun experience of the Bourbon Trail, and you go in there, you spend money, that's great. But a lot of the people look and say, wow, I like a little bit of that Kentuckianism. They like our way of life. People think about investing here. We have people who relocate here. The stories of individuals, if we can get them here, we can keep them here. And so we'll continue to expand on that and work for our signature industries, because that's how we'll continue to catapult Kentucky. So thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Well, we might have invited you at the last minute, but boy, you gave us a great segue there. So thank you, Senator. And all the other elected officials, thank you also for so much you do to promote and protect our signature spirit. We could not do without you, especially our partners in the General Assembly, who for the last 10 to 12 years have done so much to modernize our archaic alcohol laws and let us do things at the distilleries, like simple things like sell a cocktail that is really helping our distilleries reach their full Napa Valley type of inspiration. So thank you. Now, here to tell us more about what visitors are going to be able to expect and see on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail moving forward, I'm honored to welcome Jess Pendergrass, who's chair of the KDA Board of Directors and General Counsel and Chief Compliance Officer at Heaven Hill. So Jess, if you'll come on up. Now, yes, please. While she's giving her remarks, this is going to be hard. You all are going to get a glass of bourbon, okay, while she's giving her remarks. Don't drink it yet. I know it's tempting, but we're going to have a toast here in a few minutes. So you can smell it, you can nose it, but please don't sip on it yet. So, Jess, thank you. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Eric. Distinguished guests and Kentucky bourbon enthusiasts, it is an honor to stand here in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. While I am here to represent the membership of the Kentucky Distillers Association as the board chair, I am also thrilled to represent my company, Heaven Hill, which is one of the 7 founding members of the Bourbon Trail. With 46 distillers across the trail today, we continue to create prestige for the Commonwealth with tourism destinations that are admired around the world for a spirit of hospitality that is uniquely Kentucky. The trail was instrumental to the bourbon renaissance in recent decades, and it is definitely a shining example of what we can do together and achieve when we work together as one across this enduring and iconic industry. To ensure that the Kentucky Bourbon Trail remains at the forefront of this ever-evolving industry, we embarked on a nationwide search for a marketing partner for this work and found our perfect match in the Nashville-based agency Lewis. After a full year of market research, including an economic impact study, visitor profile study, and in-depth interviews across Bourbon Trail destinations, an elevated, all-new brand began to take form. The data we collected revealed several key opportunities for enhancements: to reimagine the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, to simplify the experience by merging our heritage and craft distillery experiences together to form one Bourbon Trail, to better educate our visitors about the trail's offerings before they arrive in the Commonwealth, and by providing a moment to imagine, explore, and share plans via a new feature to build your own Bourbon Trail. While our new brand experience, launching this summer, brings modern elegance with a slant towards the adventurous, our dedication to delivering an extraordinary experience has not changed. Our spirited new Kentucky Bourbon Trail brand identity conveys the joy of discovery, spirit of adventure, and attainable luxury. We want every visit to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail to be enriching, elevated, and unforgettable. With an increasing number of bourbon lovers arriving from around the world every day, we are entering a new era of the Bourbon Trail. And so, gentlemen, I'll welcome you back up to unveil our new logo. Yeah, you can come up on stage. Okay, we're gonna do a countdown. On three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Can't wait to see it.
Right? So, the Bourbon Trail is built on the strong foundation of the history and legacy of the Kentucky bourbon industry, and we are encouraging our visitors to slow down, savor the adventure, and explore the endless possibilities that the Commonwealth has to offer. And now, let's embark on this journey together and take a look at the vibrant new future for our beloved Bourbon Trail.
It began 25 years ago. A simple idea, really. To showcase the talents of 7 distilleries across Kentucky. Today, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail has grown into a global phenomenon, a destination admired around the world with 2.5 million visitors every year. And it could only happen here. You see, this isn't a state line. It's the border between the world's best bourbon and everything else. The success of the Bourbon Trail isn't surprising when you meet the people who built it, the people of Kentucky, who bring its story to life every day with their heart, their craftsmanship, and their hospitality. Now that the world has seen what only Kentucky can do with bourbon, they're showing up and asking for more. Today, the trail has 46 distilleries, with more on the way. And on this 25th anniversary, it's time for a new brand experience that is worthy of the bourbon experience that Kentucky has created for our visitors. Our work began a year ago in listening sessions to understand what was important for our distilleries and our visitors. The result is a reimagined Kentucky Bourbon Trail that encourages greater exploration, slowing down, and savoring the moment. We're combining the 2 trails into one for an experience that's easier to understand and simpler to enjoy. we're unveiling an all-new brand identity that is modern, adventurous, and reflective of the new and elevated offerings at our distilleries. And this summer, we'll be launching an all-new digital experience with the goal of helping you explore and prepare for your trip like never before. And with the ability to build your own bourbon trail based on what's important to you. The time has come to celebrate 25 years with an exciting new brand and a new era of possibilities. Join us in toasting the reimagined Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
And since I jokingly told my staff I wanted to feel like I was at the NBA draft, they gave me a hat to put on. So, even better. All right. We're also honored today to celebrate our silver anniversary with remarks from Robin Taylor on behalf of U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell. Please welcome Senator Mitch McConnell, State Director Robin Taylor to the stage.
Well, thank you, Eric, and it's very good to join you, Congressman Barr, Lieutenant Governor Coleman. So nice to see you all, Senator Yates, and all the guests, particularly all of you from the Kentucky Distillers Association. So I realize that I'm the last thing between the toast and the opportunity for you to sample today's product. So I'm going to be very quick, but I did want to bring greetings on behalf of Senator Mitch McConnell. And I'm not going to read all of this. Senator Yates was very concerned when he saw it that I was going to read the whole thing. But one of the ways we often try to honor people, places, and exciting new celebrations in Kentucky is by placing a memorial, if you will, in the congressional record. And so this is a congressional record, Eric. I'm going to present this to you. And Senator McConnell, I'm just going to give you one quote at the end. It says, I want to thank all of those involved for their stewardship of Kentucky's heritage and their work to build our state's vibrant bourbon industry. As this Kentucky landmark celebrates its silver jubilee, I'd like to extend my best wishes to its dedicated team and all the hardworking Kentuckians who have contributed to the enduring popularity and legacy of bourbon whiskey. So on behalf of Senator Mitch McConnell, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to go here and get a picture?
Sure. Where's your camera?
Where's our camera? Perfect. We'll get a real quick picture of it. Well, I'm not sure we've ever had anything entered about the Kentucky Bourbon Trail on the congressional record. What an honor. Thank you, and thanks to Senator McConnell. All right, we're almost ready to drink some delicious bourbon. So if all the bourbon barons and KDA board members would come to the front of the stage here real quick. Come on, folks. We can get as many, if you're a KDA member too, come on up here. Come on up, get in front of the stage. Oh, thank you. Yes. Come on up. Yep, come on up. All right. And by the way, y'all, this is a commemorative glass celebrating our 25th anniversary, so we want y'all to take this home as a keepsake and always remember today in celebration of the KDA's Silver Jubilee, which I love. I can't believe we didn't write that ourselves. That's wonderful. All right. Well, now it is an honor to welcome our Lieutenant Governor, Jacqueline Coleman, to the stage, who's going to talk to us about the past and cheer the future of our Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let me first say, Eric, you were always so complimentary of all of the distilleries and the elected officials, and you're so gracious. This has all happened on your watch. This is your blood, sweat, and tears. So, Eric, thank you for your leadership in this. And I think you know you have no bigger fan, personally or professionally, than Governor Andy Beshear. And so earlier today, he issued a proclamation that officially declares today Kentucky Bourbon Trail Day in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So it's official. All right, so let's raise a glass. Here's to our past and our future, For many years, Kentucky's signature spirit has spurred tourism and economic development, building our local communities. With billions of dollars in bourbon investments underway, and now a bright new future for the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, the world will continue to enjoy their drinks while knowing that the Commonwealth of Kentucky is the undisputed home of bourbon. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Cheers. I think that's it. Is that it, team? Are we done? The bar is open. Thank y'all so much for coming today. And if any of the media have questions, we're happy to answer questions or grab one of our bourbon barons or dignitaries here today. Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming.